Hey, this is the Masquerade from LearnToLeap.com, and today I'm bringing you guys one of my favorite champions and the AD carry that I like to play a lot in solo queue, Lucian. So Lucian is one of the most popular AD carry picks currently in the season. Lucian and Jinx basically picked over and over right now, and they probably have the highest win rate for AD carries, and this is due to them having almost no weak points during any times of the game. You know, in early game, mid game, Lucian and Jinx have extremely strong laning phases and really well transitioning towards the mid game. And in late game, obviously Lucian and Jinx are really strong. Jinx has that reset passive that allows her to just get tons of kills whenever she gets one kill, and she has that long range. And Lucian, of course, he has that free cleanse with his E and just tons of mobility and just very slippery as an AD carry. And obviously his passive just makes him deal a lot of damage when he gets his items, and just a little bit crit, and he can possibly crit twice. So let's move on to the summoner spells I like to run on Lucian. Since Lucian's an AD carry, I like to just basically run the standard AD carry summoner spells, which is Barrier and Flash. And depending on the matchups, you know, sometimes I would like to run the Cleanse for the extra slipperiness, but Lucian's a pretty mobile AD carry, and most of the time I would just like to run Barrier. For runes, I like to just run the standard AD carry runes, which includes the flat AD marks, armor yellows, magic resist blues, and some lifesteal for Quince that allows you to sustain really well in the main by autoing the creeps. And masteries, those are pretty standard too, just the 2190, which basically you would like to run on almost every AD carry right now. Just provides a bit more of survivability and just dealing a lot of damage. Now for item builds, it's actually pretty interesting for Lucian, since Lucian relies on casting spells to do a lot of his damage, and in late game most of the damage will be coming from your passive, which allows you to auto twice with your next auto after casting a spell. So Trinity Force is actually the way to go for Lucian. Lucian is actually very similar to the old Corki, where you would just auto cast a spell to reset your auto and then auto again. But obviously, you know, you wouldn't want to rush the Trinity Force in most cases as Lucian, so I recommend building a Bloodthirster as your first item and then working your way towards the Trinity Force. This is because if you just only run the Trinity Force, sure, it's very good for all ending and snowballing the lane, snowballing your advantage. However, during most of the games, you would sacrifice a lot of your survivability and lifesteal, which is very important as Lucian. And you know, Lucian has that very good AD scaling from a lot of his spells, including his Q, his W. So Bloodthirster is the way to go, and then a Trinity Force. Now after Trinity Force, you would probably get Last Whisper, since in this meta right now, a lot of top laners and junglers would tend to stack a lot of armor, the Shyvana Mundos, and they're very hard to kill, so getting Last Whisper as your third item is almost guaranteed. And then after Last Whisper, you know, you would probably want to look to getting a defensive item, as you're a very squishy skill item. And sometimes first, like effect Gragas, if that's a long, you'll probably want to get a Banshees, and then first in dive comps like a Fed Zed, a Yasuo, probably want to get a GA. Top it all off with the Affinity Edge as your last item to provide the most amount of damage. Anyways, let's talk about Lucian's skill order. On Lucian, you want to max that Q because your Q is your primary source of damage in the early and mid game, and then maxing that W second. But I recommend getting E level 2 for just that extra mobility and for dodging any skill shots, such as when you're first doing a Thresh or a Blitzcrank. And not only that, E also allows you to escape from ganks if you're getting a really early gank from, you know, that Lucian or a Lise. And also allows you to play really aggressive when you're not in the position to follow up from your support. But since you have that E, you can follow up and just deal tons of damage and punish the other support or AD carry for overextending. And obviously you would want to max that ultimate whenever you can. So I just want to talk about Lucian's ultimate for a minute or two, because a lot of people have been criticizing Lucian's ultimate a lot of times for not dealing enough damage when compared to other ultimates, maybe like Jinx, not enough burst damage, and when you're just using the ultimate to hit tanks, you don't do as much damage as your auto would. So I just want to make this clear that Lucian's ultimate has an immense amount of range, and most of the time if you are in range to auto the enemy, you would mostly like to auto and just cast spells on Lucian, because that will provide you the most amount of damage. However, since Lucian's ultimate has such a great range, when you're out of range from your autos, you want to cast that ultimate in a way that the opponent will be running towards, so you can, you know, keep chasing them with your ultimate and then just calling them down. Since even in the mid game, your ultimate will deal a lot of damage, especially to one single target. So yeah, that's my Lucian guide. Hope you enjoyed this video, you know, learn something, and go try Lucian for yourself. Check out some of the other videos that I've done on learntoleague.com, and this is the Masquerade signing off. Peace.